today and over the last couple of days, I've been reading about China and some of the companies in China, one in particular, coming up with a faster method of AI and much less expensive method. And that's good because you don't have to spend this much money. I view that as a positive, as an asset. So the release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said, well, this is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas. We're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution.
The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ ended lower on Monday, as NVIDIA and other chip makers sold off after surging popularity of a low-cost Chinese artificial intelligence model raised investor worries about the outlooks for current AI leaders in the United States. Chinese startup DeepSeek rolled out a free assistant it says uses cheaper chips and less data, raising questions about investor expectations that AI will drive demand along a supply chain from chip makers to data centers. NVIDIA plunged about 17%, shaving nearly $600 billion off its market valuation, while an index of semiconductor stocks had its biggest single-day percentage decline since March 2020. But the Dow actually rose about 0.2%, while the S&P 500 dropped about 1.5% and the NASDAQ fell 3%. Despite the big moves in the red for some stocks, Zacks investment research client portfolio manager Brian Mulberry sees encouraging signs.
Well, in the market today, we're seeing it across kind of the different indices, a very different experience. NASDAQ down sharply, the S&P kind of in the middle, and the Dow turning slightly positive. If I pivot that and talk about just growth and value, growth down sharply, but value is actually up over 1% on the day, in particular, large cap value. What does that mean? Investors are coming back to, I think, a little bit more common sense valuations, but also very strong, very healthy balance sheets.
Other stocks on the move included AT&T, which jumped 6% to a 3.5-year high after its fourth quarter wireless subscriber growth surpassed expectations. And shares of Ralph Lauren slipped 3% after brokerage Raymond James cut its rating to market perform, citing the huge rally in the stock, which surged 60% last year and has gained another 11% so far in 2025. Chinese startup DeepSeek has roiled global stock markets with the launch of its latest artificial intelligence models. The company says they are on par with or better than industry-leading models in the US at a fraction of the cost, which has led to steep declines for AI chipmaker NVIDIA's shares and others. Here's what we know about the company and its product development. Since the release of OpenAI's ChatGPT in late 2022, Chinese tech firms have been scrambling to create their own chatbots powered by artificial intelligence. DeepSeek says 2 of its models have been showered with praise by Silicon Valley executives and US tech company engineers and are on par with OpenAI and Meta's most advanced models. It also says that one of them is 20 to 50 times cheaper to use than an OpenAI model, depending on the task. One technology CEO told CNBC he thinks DeepSeek is using NVIDIA chips which are banned from being sold to Chinese companies. DeepSeek did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the allegation. The company is a Hangzhou-based startup whose controlling shareholder is Liang Wenfeng, co-founder of quantitative hedge fund High Flyer, based on Chinese corporate records. It is unclear how much High Flyer has invested in DeepSeek. The 2 companies have offices in the same building, and High Flyer owns patents related to chip clusters used to train AI models, according to Chinese corporate records. DeepSeek's success has already been noticed in China's top political circles. Last week, on the day DeepSeek released a new product to the public, company founder Liang attended a closed-door symposium hosted by Chinese Premier Li Qiang, according to state news agency Xinhua. Liang's presence at the gathering is potentially a sign that DeepSeek's success could be important to Beijing's policy goal of overcoming Washington's export controls and achieving self-sufficiency in strategic industries like AI.
Chinese startup DeepSeek, whose new low-cost AI model rattled tech stocks Monday, suffered a large-scale cyber attack, causing it to temporarily limit registrations. Earlier in the day, DeepSeek said it was hit by outages on its website after its AI assistant became the top-rated free app in Apple's U.S. App Store and overtook ChatGPT in downloads. DeepSeek claims it uses cheaper chips and less data, challenging the idea that advanced semiconductors, like those made by NVIDIA, are needed to run AI applications. That sent major tech stocks tumbling, with shares of NVIDIA falling as much as 17.8% at one point Monday morning. Brian Jacobson is chief economist at Annex Wealth Management.
This could really be a change in the script, a change in the narrative around artificial intelligence, where it's no longer about what has been called the picks and shovels. That was like NVIDIA, as far as with the chips that they were selling, and maybe even the data center providers. Now it's moved on from the picks and the shovels more to perhaps the refiners and the jewelers in that narrative, where it's more about what's the actual use case of the technology.
DeepSeek's popularity has also upended widely held views about U.S. dominance in the AI space and the effectiveness of Washington's export controls targeting China's advanced chip and AI capabilities. Little is known about the company behind DeepSeek, a small Hangzhou-based startup founded in 2023 when search engine giant Baidu released the first Chinese AI large language model. Since then, dozens of Chinese tech companies, large and small, have released their own AI models, but DeepSeek is the first to be praised by the U.S. tech industry as matching or even surpassing the performance of cutting-edge U.S. models.
Technology shares around the world slid on Monday as surging popularity of a Chinese discount artificial intelligence model ruffled feathers. Startup DeepSeek has rolled out a free assistant it says uses lower-cost chips and less data. That seemingly challenges a widespread bet in financial markets that AI will drive demand along a supply chain from chip makers to data centers. Shares in NVIDIA supplier Advantest fell 8.5% in Tokyo, while those of Tesla, Amazon and Meta fell more than 2% in early European trading. Joachim Clement is a strategist at Panmure Liberum.
The capabilities of DeepSeek are well within reach of OpenAI and the other providers of generative AI. But, and that's the crucial but, is can DeepSeek approach or get the same results with lower infrastructure costs, which obviously would be a major negative, not just for NVIDIA, but also for the big cloud computing data center providers like Amazon.
AI-focused startup investor SoftBank Group slid more than 8%, on course for its biggest one-day fall since September, while chip-making equipment giant Tokyo Electron fell 5%. But tech-heavy markets in Taiwan and South Korea were closed. Little is known about the small Hangzhou startup behind DeepSeek, but its assistant leapfrogged rival ChatGPT to become the top-rated free application on Apple's App Store in the US on Monday. DeepSeek researchers wrote in a paper last month that the version 3 model launched on January the 10th used NVIDIA's H800 chips for training, spending less than $6 million. Frankfurt-listed shares of NVIDIA slipped about 7% in morning trade. The poster child of AI has seen its stock rise 196% since the start of 2024.